Good evening, everybody. Um, Come to set out in my little garden house for a few minutes this evening. If I don't mess around and drop my laptop. Good evening, TikTok, everybody over there. I got a little ceiling fan blowing on. It's a little warm this afternoon in Atlanta. Uh, um, I'm able with the roof that's clear on top of this greenhouse and all the windows. I can see the clouds and the sky and the setting of sun. Uh, so just coming on here to say good evening, everybody. And Ava's going this evening to an event out on Films, having some event. It's good evening, uh, Vinetta, over on TikTok. Uh, it's been such an odd week for me this week. You know, life is so strange that we just never know what any day will hold for us or what any weeks, how the week's going to go. And it's just been kind of an odd week, and it's so weird. It's been a wonderful week, a sad week, um, somewhat stressful week, just all conjured together, you know. And the yeah, just kind of an odd week. Um, but anyhow, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, over on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube here this evening. Eddie Williams Sellers coming to you, sitting out here having me a little Gatorade. Ava and I got our morning walk in this morning around 9:30 or 10. It was already hot, but we don't have to do it in the evenings. We'll have to do it tomorrow evening because she works tomorrow. She didn't work today. So, but anyway, just sitting here, kind of taking in the day. Have this moment to sit in the dog house. It's weird. In the garden house, um, you can start hearing the cicadas or the crickets starting to get going. The chickens are going on the bed. Um, yeah, we have. I have somebody else that I can invite to come and sit with us in the garden house this evening. My niece Debbie passed yesterday afternoon about 5 o'clock. And I thought about this in my morning post when I did my morning post this morning. I remember as a kid coming up in Cabbagetown, dead people were kind of scary to. It's kind of scary to kids, and uh, yeah, thank y'all over there. Yeah, I just got off the phone with my sister. Uh, uh, yeah, it's kind of sad. You know, we can paint death up and put all the lipstick we want on it. Um, we can paint it up, pretty it up, preach it up, say everything we want to about the dead body, uh, but it hurts people. You know, like Vicky. I mean, Debbie was her only daughter. Vicky has two kids, Debbie and Richard. Richard lives over in Alabama, but Debbie's always been Vicky's shotgun ride or die. You know, with her mama for 57 years, and Vicky had her when she was about 16, I guess. And they fussed, they argued, they lived together. They lived across the street from each other for years. Oh, you know, it's just like they just almost you hardly see a mom and a daughter. Granny and Corrine was like that. My Aunt Corrine lived with Granny up until Granny died. And at some point they're just almost like an old married couple. You know, even though they're a mama and a daughter. They just like old married people. You know, mama, you better not be doing all that. You know. So but anyhow, coming up in Cabbagetown, maybe we'll have a word of prayer a little bit of something spiritual. Maybe God will come and visit us out here. But I invite Debbie, who's who crossed over yesterday. I invite Debbie. I've got an extra chair out here. I got the ceiling fan going. The setting of the sun's here. The Lord is here in this place this evening. Uh, the Holy Spirit is hovering over us this evening. Um, So I invite Debbie, Debbie'd say hey to Mama. Mama loved Debbie, you know, and so Debbie say hey to Mama. Bring Mama with you. You and Mama come sit with me here. We might as well go ahead and get my two brothers, James and Joe. My little baby brother Jeffrey that died when he was 13 days old. That liked to kill me as a little boy when he died. Just like to kill me. I literally felt I hurt so bad when he died. I thought his death might kill me. And you're like, Eddie, how can you even feel like that over a 13-year-old little baby? I don't know. They just like to kill me. I just hurt so bad over it. And I've carried him with me my whole life, you know. And so I invite Debbie to come here, bring Mama, bring Granny Bratcher, bring. You know what? I rode by the neighborhood yesterday after Debbie had passed, and my Uncle Aaron and Aunt Shirley owned the house next to my cousin Danny uh, on Dobbs Drive. For Aaron and Shirley lived there for years, and I lived across the street on Dobbs Drive. So our front porches, we could sit on the front porch and see each other. And Shirley, worked with me at Georgia Blueprint. I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years. So me and Shirley ride to work together every day, come home every evening. And they lived across the street from me. So anyhow, when I rode down Dobbs yesterday, I seen where Aaron and Shirley's house that they lived in. It's got a for sale sign in front of it now, and Adams Realty has it. They want $209,000 for that little house that Aaron and Shirley lived in. But I don't know what it was about it. Just seeing their house for sale. Let's just reminding me that life is always changing. Life is always flowing, always moving by. It's going to move by me and you at some point. We're going to be called up in that number. Uh, um, Good evening, Mr. Eddie. Sorry for your loss. My condolences to you and your family. Thank you there, Miss Kathy Cole Jackson. Thank y'all. You know what? And I wish I could forget it. Yeah. Um, yeah. Uh, yeah. Yeah. I'm seeing all the comments, y'all, over on TikTok. The I know this is odd in some ways. I found all the comments, and it's weird to me to think it's odd. I just found all the comments about my post about the passing of Davy. I just found it very comforting. You know, I was really sad last night. Um, Still have some residual sadness kind of lingering today. And it wasn't that I had this great connection with Debbie or this great, deep, you know, uh, feelings for Debbie, but Debbie is just like a very small portion of the family, of my part of the family that's left. And uh, y'all, she called me about 3 months ago. Her and her mama was kind of like she called me about 2 months before she took this last turn to get sick, and she said, Eddie, because evidently her and her mama's finances are together, and she told me, she said, Eddie, there's this parrot I've been wanting to buy, and I need you to loan me $1,000, and I'll get it back to you. And she would, and I said, well, but I don't need my mama to know about it. I want to buy this big old blue some parrot. I'm like, my God, Debbie, do you really want to buy a parrot? Because she's always had birds. She's always had these squeakers and birds and African grays in her house. Some people are just bird people. Debbie loved birds. And so I told her, I said, yeah, I won't tell you, Mama. You know, I said, but she never did buy it. The deal fell through and some special deal on a bird. I was telling Vicky about it this evening on the phone. I said, you know, she almost bought a parrot a couple of months before she got sick. She didn't want you to know about it. And Vicky said, I would have killed her. She brought a parrot in this house. And she's had them damn birds, and I would have just killed her. She left me stuck taking care of a loud, squawky parrot. So, but y'all life's kind of weird how you can be wanting to buy a parrot and then a few months later you're gone. You know, you're gone. It can happen to me, it can happen to you. It will happen to me. It will happen to you. You know, it's just bizarre, you know, all of that. So, So anyway, y'all. Uh, yeah. So anyway, good evening, everybody. I welcome the presence of the Lord here in this garden house this evening. I welcome the God of the night, the God of the midnight, the God of the early morning. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Thank you there, Brad Jackson. Uh, Life is very precious. I see all the comments, y'all. I'm uh, just kind of talking for a few minutes. Uh, Usually, when I do these, you know, I want to lift myself up this evening. If I'm being honest about it, I want to. I just want to speak virtue and faith and love and life, comfort and joy, peace, anointing, love. Just want to put this out here tonight, and I know that I know 4 or 5 people that I'm aware of who's also going through real serious health challenges right now. I speak hope over you, faith over you, love over you. I'm going to tell you something very powerful. If you don't know this, which I can't really tell you anything you don't already know, so let me just rephrase that and say, I want to remind you of this, God of the night. Hope, hope is a power. It is a supernatural power, hope. Uh, it just raises your whole vibration up, your whole energy up. It makes your soul set on fire. It makes you feel like dancing. Hope. It's a beautiful feeling of hope. And whatever you're going through tonight, I want you just to have some hope. Just have some hope. I know the doctors tell you all this stuff, and I'm not belittling doctors, and God knows I love doctors, love healthcare workers, love nurses, to me, they're the extensions, the arms of God, you know, nurses and doctors and clinic workers, and just the extensions of God. But I want you to just have some hope tonight. I don't care what situation you're going through, how dreary it looks, how bad it looks. Have a little hope tonight, you know, because you don't never know, you know. And I've always loved the part where they went to Jesus and they asked him, Jesus made this comment about it'd be easier to go for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than it would be for a rich man to get saved, and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of that stuff's lost in translation. But one of them made the comment and said, well, who then, Lord, can be saved? And Jesus answered and he said, with man, things are impossible. With man, things can have a limitation to them. With man, things can feel hopeless and be impossible. But Jesus said, with God, all things are possible. God, all things are possible. And that's what I want to just speak this evening to myself. I want to speak it to you. I want to speak no matter what you're going through, what kind of fire is the flames are coming around you, what kind of depression that you're battling, what kind of dysfunction in your family that's going on. I just want you to know that all things are possible. All things are possible. And I'm not saying the part with God where you got to go down and join a church and pay your tithes and read your Bible and get in Sunday school and all. I'm so far beyond all of that. And if that's where you're at right now, God bless you. I've been there, done that, went through it, came through it, moved on from it. But I want to tell you that hope, within hope, that's where the miracles are. When you just have hope for it. All of a sudden you're like, well, I don't know where that came from, but look at it. Look at it. You know that old saying in the South. Some of you people in Korea and England and in Amsterdam this evening that might be watching this, you might not have a clue about Southern people. But Southern people have this saying when something just happens that you wasn't really expecting, Southern people just like, look at God. Look at God. Well, look at God. Won't and then I think more so in the black church, they're like, won't he do it? Somebody like, yeah, he'll do it. Won't he do it? Yes, he'll do it. So I just want to tell you to have hope this evening. No matter what you're going through. Yeah, thank y'all over there. I'm really not. I'm seeing the questions over here. Yeah, somebody had mentioned Trump over on TikTok. I've seen where they're saying somehow that his blood's going down through his body, but it's not coming back up the way it should. And I know this might really piss somebody off out there because maybe the only person that's more anti-Trump than myself is Rosie O'Donnell. I love Rosie, y'all. Me and Rosie are bosom buddies. Rosie, me and Rosie's going to talk at some point. You wouldn't see. Rosie's going to run across me online and say, "Yep, that's Eddie. That's my kindred brother over there in the South." Um, but there's probably no greater anti-Trump person other than myself, except for maybe Rosie O'Donnell. So I want to say this evening because this is what a Christ in you would look like. This is what Christ in me will be like. That when I read that today, that whatever they said that was causing his ankles to swell, and the blood that as we get older, it goes to our feet, and then it doesn't circulate back to our heart in the way it did at one time. And it can be blood clots can cause some of that. But I would say this evening that the Christ in me asked God to touch the president's body, to to touch him in his heart, in his soul, in his spirit, in his mind, that it would touch him in his physical body, and let whatever that is. Um, I know some of you out there say, "Ooh, that's just good news. We want God to take him on out of here." Yeah, I'm not that kind of person. I can't do that. Anytime, anytime I see somebody whose physical health is being challenged, the Christ in me, initially, without any reservations, speaks healing over them. Ask God to touch them. Ask God to raise them up. Ask God to be near them, to lift them up. So I do that for the president tonight also. Although I may be writing a post in a few days, just stripping him down to skin and bones tonight in this garden house. I, I am the presence of Christ. I am the voice of Christ. I am the love of Christ. And Donald Trump's just a man like anybody else. Yeah, kind of weird and kooky, but so am I sometimes. I ask God to touch him. So, anyway, y'all, have some hope tonight. Uh, it's just been a strange, odd week. Um, the death of Debbie kind of bothered me a little bit. Uh, it kind of caught me off guard. I just kept speaking faith over and goodness over, and I thought surely with the science of medicines nowadays, she didn't have cancer, she didn't have a heart attack or stroke. She had some complications that kind of persisted from having bariatric surgery. I thought surely doctors will figure this out. She kept getting infections. She kept getting having issues with it. And I said they'll just give her plenty of antibiotics and they'll work with her and they'll get her through this. Y'all, you don't have to have cancer to die. You don't have to have a stroke or a massive heart attack to die. You can die. You can die for no other reason, just death. You die, and so it is. It is that. Uh, um, yeah, yeah. So anyway, y'all, sitting in my garden house here in East Point, Georgia, this evening. Um, yeah, hear firework in the distance. It's the setting of the sun. If I turn this light out, it's already getting dark outside. Um, just been a strange, strange week this week. And tomorrow's already Friday. Is tomorrow Friday? Y'all, I'm so lost. I don't even know what day it is. But I think tomorrow's Friday. Um, yeah, yeah. So that's it. I just speak over myself goodness and faith and love and joy and peace. And what I speak for over myself, I speak for others. I pray for our nation. I pray for our country. I hope that our country gets better. You know, yeah. Oh my goodness. Uh, I didn't know that, Stephanie. Stephanie says, yeah, I see it, Heather. That was Vicky. That's my sister Vicky on Facebook. And then I see where Stephanie says, do I remember Dottie? Her son died this week. I did not know that, but I do remember Dottie and her son. Good heavens. I don't like death, y'all. All these people dying. Good Lord. I don't like it. Y'all stop it. I command you in the name of the Lord to stop dying. I've seen enough of it. I've heard enough of it. I've preached enough of it. Stop it. But my heart goes out to Dottie. I love Dottie. Uh, oh my goodness. It was our baby boy, 32 years old, Cody. Yeah, Steffi, I didn't know that. You know, and I think with social media, we just about know everybody. Um, but anyhow, let me just end with this song right here. I used to sing this song back years ago when I felt troubled, and I used to sing it out under tents, and it used to give me great comfort. And if I could remember this words to it, some of you people that go back that far with me and was back there with me in those days would remember this song. But the song says, I've walked with God through all these years, through flame and flood, through my pain and my tears. I followed him. His voice I've obeyed. I'm nearer home than I was yesterday. I'm nearer home than I was yesterday. I can just almost feel Sammy hovering around me. He loved that song. I'm closer to God along the way. Each step I take, each prayer that I pray, I'm nearer home than I was yesterday. I love y'all, sweet people. I'm going to go in here and eat me a little candy bar, find me something on Netflix, and wait for Ava to get home. It's just an odd week, y'all. Just an odd, strange week. Doggone, Debbie's wanting to buy $1,000 to buy a parrot just 3 or 4 months ago, and she passed yesterday. Just weird. Just all of it's just weird to me. But life is what it is. Love y'all.